Well, this is an interesting start to a video. You're wondering what is foghorn leghorn got to do with Turner syndrome? I think you might enjoy this. Um, this morning, after some brief comic relief and maybe a couple points, I'm going to do 2 videos this morning. I'm going to do one on what's called narcissistic abuse. I think it's one I should have done a long time ago, so that butterflies can kind of recognize the game that's going on, and they can recognize the bullying, and that they can kind of smarten up to what's going on. The second video will just kind of keep things a little more manageable. Will be, now that you know that you've been bullied, what can you do to protect yourself, and what can the Turner syndrome community do? But before we get started, take a look at this.
Of pipe G, stretch elastic X laterally, date with bone C. Ace Novelty Company? Ace Novelty Company. Pipe full of fun kit number 7? Pipe full of fun kit number 7. We have been flim-flam. Yeah, hoodwinked. Hey, dog. I got a little old idea.
65, 66, 67.
The dirty double-crosser. We ought to tar and feather 'em. Hanging's too good for that duck.
Ew! Something tells me this little black duck has worn out his welcome. Goodbye!
Well, look what we got here. You know, there just might be a market for bottled duck.
And that's all, folks, on that one. Yeah, that is from, if anybody follows cartoons, what they do, that's from Robert McKinson, is the producer for Warner Brothers. He did all the Foghorn Leghorn cartoons, and that was called High and the Flighty. And the reason I brought it up is a Daffy Duck was a traveling salesman, and he found he could manipulate sales, and having Dog and Foghorn Leghorn kind of attack each other until they realized they had been had. So, and I think a lot of us are probably feeling this way. But anyway, after that little humorous just piece of comic relief, I want to talk about what's called narcissistic abuse. And then I want to talk about narcissists and what they really are. And you might say, well, Mark, this is your deal. I don't think so. Because I can think of examples. There was a mom out in the Midwest who lost her daughter to Turner syndrome. She was attacked by the bullies, and she's been having severe PTSD flashbacks from it. A lot of people have fled friendships because they don't feel safe because of the bullying. It's just a lot of people have been because they're friends of me are getting attacked by these bullies. And I think if we understand, and then I think if we have an understanding of narcissism, what it really is, then I think that we can kind of understand, just like Foghorn Leghorn and Dog, how they realized they were being manipulated. We can kind of be a little older and a little wiser. This is for butterflies. This is for me too, because I need it. But if you've been a victim of bullying, I want to let you know there's no shame now that you know. But there's a lot of. I would just encourage you to do some Google searching on narcissistic abuse, what it means to be a narcissistic victim, and how it looks. But there's lots of good articles, and I couldn't somehow somehow the citation I want seemed to have got up and walked away. But I do. I'm kind of keying a couple points, and you can kind of read the article for yourself. Narcissists don't really love themselves; they're driven by shame. I've seen that, and maybe this does, and maybe some of these examples don't apply, but I'd like to maybe hit on some bullet points, and then you can go back and read it for yourself. I will say that I have seen a lot of women feeling shame in the Turner syndrome community, and having to find ways to feel that shame, and I see them at work. Obviously, and I get it. I see it, and then obviously there's nothing I can do about it. But I think if at least we have an understanding that maybe there are some butterflies that might be able to help. Maybe they can't, and maybe the butterflies, as I'll share in the next video. But in a reaction to shame, I like this. They use destructive defense mechanisms to destroy relationships and cause pain and damage to loved ones or to others. Actually, it's a little off topic, but I feel like Amy with one of her videos trying to look up information on Google. I think this will work, and some of these don't apply, and some of them do. Point number 3: lacks empathy for the feelings and needs of others. And I have confronted some of the ringleaders in the bullying, and they cannot they can't see what they're doing. And some of these people are very fine Christian women in ministry. They can't see it. One of them is actually in a position of influence in the Turner syndrome community, and I've tried to talk to the lady, and she can't see it, and she will not listen. She will not accept that there's two sides. There's two sides of the story, that we're allowing the abuse to come on, and we're allowing someone with a narcissistic disorder to go ahead and bully and to shame and to spread stories and to let it go unabated. And I must say, I'm really worried that the Turner syndrome community is staying silent on this, because I said before, somebody's going to get hurt. And they probably already have, and I think it's only a matter of time. But let's look at it. But lacks empathy of the feelings of others. Exploits others to achieve personal ends. Okay. This one, though, I have seen envies others or believes that they're envious of him and her. This is not really what I wanted. But again, you can go ahead and look at it. Let's go back though to the psychology today. And I think here's the symptoms of narcissistic abuse. The abuse can be emotional, mental, physical, financial, spiritual, or sexual. I don't think we've had problems with sexual, so I think we can strike a line through that. Because there have been churches that have refused to get involved and have let the sin go on, yes, there's definitely spiritual abuse. Definitely, it can take a toll on one physically. If anybody has problems with addictions, then all of a sudden they may find themselves going back to their favorite addiction. Is it codependency? Is it pornography? Is it alcoholism? Is it drugs? Is it overeating, shopping, whatever? And it certainly can cause severe emotional harm. Verbal abuse includes belittling, bullying, accusing. You're a stalker. You're a pedophile. And that's an example of it. Blaming, shaming, demeaning. Modesty prevents, but I have seen some memes of a TS sister in Canada that was just absolutely offensive. I mean, it was schoolyard bullying on social media. Opposing, undermining. Undermining is, keep in mind that the bullies will do anything to undermine and terrorize and destroy friendships and to spread rumors. Who's been affected? Well, certainly Turner syndrome butterflies have been feeling anxiety, and I've talked to them. They've been feeling anxiety, fear, rage, shame. I had a case where we all know about the attack last September, and I had people that were in major crisis because of that, interrupting. That's what happened. And then another example of interrupting was the time that the Sarchfields tried to do a Q&A with I and Amy, and then how Dita Mancini just interrupted the video. Blocking, name calling, make demands, use sarcasm, interrupt, criticize, blame, or block. Consider the context and frequency of the behavior and before labeling narcissistic abuse. I think that this one, as if we looked at it, I think we'd have to argue that would be the case. If you're a butterfly and if you experience it, it's okay. You're not alone. You have no reason to be ashamed. What I would encourage you to do is educate yourself. I would encourage the Turner syndrome community, educate yourself, learn about it so you can learn to take care of yourself. Manipulation. Emotional blackmail, threats, angers, warnings, intimidations, or punishment. It makes you want to doubt. Last night, we got another text from a bully saying, "We're going to call the police." Well, all right, that's a threat. Or, we don't want you. Oh, we don't want you in the Turner syndrome community. I can make things real messy for you. Have you heard that one before? Intimidation. It's a form of manipulation that provokes doubts in you. Gaslighting. And I think this is, am I intentionally making you distrust your perception of reality or believing that you're mentally incompetent? That's what the bullies want you to do. They want you to feel insecure. They want you to feel less than. They want you to feel worthless. Negative contrasting, sabotage, disruptive interference with your endeavors or relationship for the purpose of revenge or personal advantage. I think one of the greatest acts of sabotage, was in the fall of 2018. The Turner syndrome community, if you may remember, had come to me when we were about ready to lose a butterfly. And I was there, and I spent a lot of time as we helped process that loss of that, the dear lady from aortic dissection. And what happened is the original TS mom had a resentment about my involvement. They say that resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Just as a side I mean, but I mean, and then so why did she act in revenge? We don't know, because she doesn't want to talk about it. I've confronted it. And the other trick though that they also do is that they also do hiding, exploitation, and objectification, taking advantage without regard for your feelings or needs. I mean, they don't care. A bully doesn't care about your abuse, and oftentimes bullies are insecure people, hurt people. I've looked at some of them, and you can tell, boy, I don't want to be accusing, but sometimes I look and said, you kind of wonder what type of baggage do they have. I know, and I've been abused, and I've been an abuser too, so I recognize it. Persistent deception to avoid responsibility or achieve the narcissist's own end. This is very important. Have you ever noticed that there are two people behind the scenes, like the Wizard of Oz, creating all this drama and having a command of bullies to keep doing the attack? But have you ever noticed that the other two people are really silent, withholding things? Now, communication. I think in this case, openness. What's really going on? Again, tolerance is a two-way street. There's always two sides of a story. This one is relevant. Privacy invasion. Ignoring your boundaries by looking through your things, phones, mail, denying your physical privacy, or stalking or following you. That could be online. Ignoring the privacy that you've requested. On numerous occasions, I have said, I do not want to talk to you. Because I know the bullies only want to argue. And I have asked them legally to cease and desist. They kept right on going. Warning: if somebody tells you to cease and desist, you are now liable for telecommunications harassment. I want you to think about that. Character assassination or slander, spreading malicious gossip or lies about you to other people. And then also controlling the environment and causing division. Think about the number of people. I want to think about the people who are actually friends of me, and we're good friends, and now we're mortal enemies. Think if that was you. We were great friends. We were great friends. We loved each other's company. Maybe we agreed to disagree sometimes, but we enjoyed each other's company and just delighted to have company. Now today we're mortal enemies. That hurts people. Violence, blocking your movement, pulling hair, destroying property. Isolating this one, and this one's been happening. And this one you really got to be careful about. Isolating you from friends, family, or access to outside services or support through control, manipulation, verbal abuse, character assassination, or other means of. And what's the MO has been with these bullies is to divide and conquer. Anybody who wants to be a friend of me to attack, who have been affected. A TS mom from Europe was attacked. Oddly enough, she contacted the Turner Syndrome Society, and the result was crickets. I have to ask the Turner Syndrome Society, hey, I thought you're supposed to provide advocacy for butterflies. Isn't addressing bullying part of the advocacy? I mean, butterflies are bullied. Don't I mean you have conferences for a safe place, but yet you're allowing this bullying to go on. And I think the butterfly community has to ask, the Turner Syndrome Society, hey, why aren't you addressing this? It's because, hey, we're getting affected by it. It's not Mark now. It's us. Look at this for a second. And just, reading that. And this one I like. Typically, narcissists don't take responsibility for the behavior and shift the blame on you and others. However, they do self-reflect, and some are capable of feeling guilt. The question is, are they willing? But the ones that are willing to change, they can change responsible. That's why those are ones that are called the brave butterflies. Have you experienced this yourself? And as we look at these, have you experienced these? So, I'll let you look. Let you look at the article yourself. But just to give you what we call the breadcrumbs, so you can get it from Google. I looked up narcissistic abuse in Google, and there's some really wonderful resources, and some of them you might want to take. And then the article I went to was this one, How to Spot Narcissistic Abuse Psychology Today. There are other articles, and educate yourself. Stop and reflect. Has this happened to you? And if it has, and if you realize, just like Dog and Falcon Leghorn, that they've been had, well, now you know. And now you can do something about it. So just something for you to think about, to ponder, to reflect. In the next video, I'm going to do how to take care of yourself, and what can the TS community do about it.